Hi, and welcome to the video summary of the first success session and the only one in the fall for our students in their final year of the Blue Water Middle College Academy. It was first held August 28th, and we had 2 sessions that day. We've had 3 since then. If you could not make it to any of those sessions, then this video will have all the information for you. So I encourage you to stay focused throughout the video. If you need to, pause it and walk away, but the information is important, and many of you will be putting this information to use just within the next few weeks this fall. Others, it may be next winter or even next fall when you apply to colleges. But if you stay and pay attention to what's being shared in this video, I think it will help you down the road. So this is a time where I want to kind of help you see a year from now, and these are pictures that were sent to us last fall by one of the middle college students, and some of you may know from Port Huron High School, Vaughn Springer. And Vaughn graduated from the middle college, headed off to Michigan State, and she's now in her 2nd year. But these were shots she sent back within the first week or 2 that she was at MSU, and she's just very excited to be there. And you guys will be in similar situations, whether it's at a huge school like MSU or even back here at SC4 to complete a degree or perhaps start a new program, or maybe you're anywhere in between, Central Michigan, Northern Michigan, Lawrence Tech, wherever. Okay, so the goals of the session are hopefully that you will know what you need to do to achieve your, near-term goals. In other words, do you want a degree from SC4? Do you want to maximize credit transfer, get a certificate here, or whatever? We don't spend a lot of time on this during this session, but we know that that's a next step for you guys, is to complete this year successfully with a good grade point average in college and prepare yourself for your next step. But then we also want to provide information, of course, for taking the next academic steps, whether it is SC4 or for many of you, it will be applying and hopefully attending a 4-year college or university. So we want to give you the information you need to take those steps. And hopefully by seeing the information and hearing the information, you'll say, you know what, I can do this, and it will inspire you to take action and start the college application process. As I record this, it's October 15th, I think. And there's still plenty of time to get an application in this fall, and for many colleges you can apply in the winter as well to enroll in the following fall, which would be the fall of 2016. But the sooner you get things in and going and then submitted, the more likely it is that you'll hear something from the colleges you apply to this fall and can start making plans that way. And it's exciting once you hit submit and wait for that acceptance letter or notification. It's pretty exciting. And we want you to learn how to submit a quality application that will maximize your experiences in the middle college and help you get into a school that you really want to get into, because again, it's not one size fits all into colleges and universities. Some require greater academic success, but some of them also look at other things that you've done, like taking college classes over the last 3 years. So in terms of achieving your current goals, like we talked about, what do you want to complete here at SC4? What do you want to complete here that will help you in the next level at a 4-year university? We recommend that you meet with an SC4 advisor now, this fall and before winter registration, to be sure you're on track for your associate degree. And if not, you find out exactly what you need. Mr. Ruiz is going through our students who are in their final year, their SC4 transcripts, and some of you may already have received a notification from him saying, you're on track to get this degree. Make sure that you take these classes to complete the requirements. In some cases, he really doesn't know exactly which degree you're pursuing. He does the best he can, but it's really up to you to make an appointment with an SC4 advisor and tell them what degree you're hoping to earn, and then they can let you know exactly what you need to complete to get the degree. Remember, the college confers the associate degree, the middle college does not. So always make sure, especially this year, that you go see an SC4 advisor. You've got 1 more semester to schedule classes as part of the middle college. When it comes to transferability, we also recommend meet with an SC4 advisor. the student advisors, Mr. Ruiz and myself, will all meet with you and can show you some tools to use to determine whether something transfers or not. But the SC4 advisors are the experts in that area. It's what they do. They meet with other advisors from other colleges and network with them. And so they're the ones really you should be talking to maximize credit transfer. And as I mentioned, we can help with both of those topics, but we're not the ones issuing the degrees. We're not the ones actually approving credit transfer. So ultimately, you want to go to the folks that work with that directly. Okay, so the next part, see, that was quick, wasn't it? The next part of this session or presentation involves the college application process, and I'm not sure if any of you have stepped into the maze yet, but in some cases it can seem like that. As you'll see, there are three main steps to the whole process. In a nutshell, it's identifying a college, and then going through the application process, and then ultimately deciding which one you want to attend. So don't be intimidated. It's really not that bad, and as everything hopefully you've experienced as a middle college student, whenever you're stuck, just come in, ask us a question, send an email or something like that, and we will be glad to help. So the steps involve identifying the colleges or universities you want to attend. It could be, again, SC4 or another community college, or it could be a four-year university. In doing that, think about, does the school or do the schools that you're looking at help you achieve your goals? Now, for that to happen, you have to further refine or identify your goals, career goals, and then look into, well, what major or minor do I need? What kind of degree do I need to achieve that career goal? If you're really not clear on that, it's time to start clarifying, especially if you're planning on going somewhere next fall. So again, you can meet with an SC4 advisor on career awareness and identification as well. Do the colleges fit your other criteria? So not only, does the college have a business program, for example, or does it offer a major in psychology or teaching, but you might have some other criteria that you're looking at. How far away from Port Huron or St. Clair County is the school? Maybe you want it to be within driving range. Maybe you don't want it to be within driving range. How big a school do you want? Do you want something like Michigan State, where there are 40 or 45,000 students there, which is huge? Or do you want something like Saginaw Valley, which has about 8,000 or 9,000 students, still a big university, but nothing like Michigan State? Or do you want a school where there's just a couple of thousand people? Because there are some smaller private schools that are very limited and sometimes beautiful campuses, but they're just only they're not a whole lot bigger than some of the high schools in St. Clair County. And cost can come into play as well. Another thing is, will your credits transfer? You might, the courses that you've taken and will take might transfer 100% to, I don't know, Saginaw Valley, let's say. But only 50 of them might transfer to Western Michigan University or vice versa. So that might play into which school you go to. If all things are equal and you can save a semester of time and money, maybe you choose the one that will accept more of your credits. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, very little actually, in credit transfer, but I mentioned to you meeting with an SC4 advisor can help. In the past, we've shown you the site, the MichiganTransferNetwork.org, where you can put in your classes one at a time, basically, and it will show you what schools that class might transfer to and as what class there at the other school. And then one of the best places to go is the college website. So if you're interested in Northern Michigan University, go to their website. In the search box and near the top, there's usually one. You can type in credit transfer, and it'll probably get you to a web page that will talk about the transfer of credits. And sometimes they have some really good documents and tools that will explicitly say, if you take this at SC4, it will transfer to Northern as this. So we'll be glad to help on that. I just didn't want to spend a lot of time at this session on that. We've talked about it in the past, and we can certainly talk about it again. So another thing to consider as you're identifying colleges and universities are, do you fit their criteria? What kind of student are they looking for? Do you have the academic grades? Do you have the ACT scores that are needed? And maybe they're not just looking for ACT scores or grade point average. I mean, certainly that would factor into it. But if you can show them, for example, if you want to go to an art school, that you've got a great portfolio and you've done all these projects in art, then that may be the ticket to getting in. And you want to both fit. You want them to think that you're going to succeed on their campus, and you also want to be glad to be there. So several steps in identifying a college or university you want to attend, and there are some of the other things that I was mentioning. Certainly grades are part of it, but the other factors might be part of their admitting you or not decision as well. Now, during the presentation, when we did it live, Mrs. Barr came in and showed you a little bit about career cruising as a tool for identifying colleges. So I'm going to do that now since I'm recording the video. So I'm going to shift over to career cruising in right now, and then I'm going to show you how you can use that as a tool. Okay, here we are at the careercruising.com website, their login page, and I have my information already sitting here that should allow me to sign in. If you do not have your sign-in username and password from last year, email Ms. Weimer or Mrs. Barr, and they will be able to get you that information. This is just kind of a sample site that I use, but I'm going to focus on, I'm not going to get into the requirements that are needed, and what might be good news to you is our Year 13 students do not have any new career cruising requirements. But I want to show you this as a great tool for helping you find colleges in Michigan or wherever you want to go related to what you want to do. So what I'm going to do, there's many ways of getting there, but I'm going to jump to the Education tab at the top. So right here, I'm going to click on that. Okay, and again, there's different ways. If you know the school's name, if someone said, oh, you should check out Aquinas College, we can type that right in, the keyword search, and click on search, and it gets us right to, well, there are several Aquinas colleges, but it might be the one in Grand Rapids, Michigan that you're interested in, and you could click on that and find more information about Aquinas. So that's one way if you know the name of the school. Now I'm going to go back to that site again. Other ways of searching is you might not know the name of the school, but if you click on major, so what do you think you want to do? What area do you think you want to study in? So let's say you are looking at being a physical therapist. Okay, so we would go then to health and medicine right here and click on that. And then all the different groups, majors related to that, are listed here. Now, certain colleges might not call them this, but these are some of the common names that you'll find. In this case, we're not seeing physical therapy. As I scroll, I don't think so. These are some majors, if you will, some of the main ones. But I'm going to click on Health Professions Other. And now it does get us to a little deeper list here and all kinds of things as I scroll down. I'm still not seeing physical therapy unless I missed that. Well, let's pick something. Let's see, what can we use? I'm not seeing that, but if we search on it, we probably would. But let's say we want to go into, oh, these are all kind of different, aren't they? Let me go back. Sorry about that. Those are really different, some of them. Let's go to psychology. We have students who are interested in psychology. So I'm going to click on that. And let's say we want something like developmental and child psychology. Let's say you're interested in that. And this may be deeper than you're even ready to commit to right now. But if you think I am interested in helping kids with mental health issues, then this might be something you pursue. So what I did is I clicked on the developmental and child psychology link, and it gave me 6 results up here. And as I look at this table, you'll see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Whoops, too much. Let's go back a little. These are all schools in Michigan. That's kind of my default state. If you want to go to other states, you can do that. This chart has check marks, and so if you look at this, here's Muskegon Community College, and they offer an associate degree, but as expected at a community college, they don't offer a 4-year bachelor's degree, or certainly not graduate work. Your next step will be usually as an undergraduate student pursuing a bachelor's degree. Okay, so you'll be considered undergraduate until you earn a bachelor's degree. After that, then it might be a graduate program like a master's or a PhD or something like that. So if you have a long list of schools and you want to shrink it a little bit, you can uncheck the associate degree over here. You're not ready for a graduate program, so I'm going to remove that. And I want a degree. I don't want a non-degree program where I'm just kind of learning for learning's sake. And now I'm going to say update. So let's see how many it leaves. So now we have 2 results. So there are 2 schools, at least in career cruising, the way they have it planned, that have a specific program in developmental and child psychology. And those are Northern Michigan University and the University of Detroit Mercy. Okay, so if we want to learn more about Northern, we click on that, and it brings up some basic information. You might remember from doing this in past years because you did have to save some colleges. But and it's got a lot of information, how many students apply, and so on. I encourage you to click on the View More button about admissions. And you'll get, in terms of how difficult it is, you'll get some information on the level of student, the SAT scores or ACT scores. It says most freshmen were not in the top 50% of their high school class and scored somewhat below a 19 on the ACT. So if you don't have a real strong ACT or your grade point average is not really strong, Northern Michigan, which is a good university and provides this program, may be a school for you. Okay? So there are other ways of getting to the list of schools. You can actually go to your careers that you have saved. I'm just going to, in this case, type in a career like accounting. Let's say that's one of my saved careers. So I go to that page and I click on accountant. You'll remember pages like this, I think, where it gives you all kinds of information about the career. But what I want to show you is we're focusing on education, so you click on the Education tab at the left, and then as you scroll down, it'll tell you what you need to be an accountant, and then it has related college programs. So if we click on accounting here, now it gets us to colleges. So if you go into the education piece of your career, click on one of those majors or programs at the bottom, it'll jump you to all the schools, and initially again in Michigan, that have a degree in accounting. And you can see there's many, many more than there are. But we can shrink it a little bit by clicking off of associate degree and grad programs and so on. Okay, so that's how to use career cruising. Just move around. Again, nothing you have to do, but it's a great source to say, okay, here are 3 schools. 2 of them maybe I hadn't heard of before, hadn't really thought of. Because you really should be open. Try not to have just one school in mind. If possible. Now there's another site to go to called Petersons.com. So I'm going to type in Petersons.com. If you want to get out of career cruising and try something with a little different look, it'll give you very similar results. Once we get there, it is a commercial site, if you will, so you're going to see ads for colleges and things related to college when you get there. But it gives you some really good information as well. The way this works initially is we're looking for schools and programs, okay, and we're looking for undergraduate. You can see that if we were looking for graduate or online programs, we could choose that. And let's click on accounting, okay, since that's the one we were just looking at. So that's the program. I type it in and click search, and it should give me a list of colleges. Right now there are 2,593 colleges for accounting. Okay, we've got to narrow that down. It doesn't know that I want colleges only in Michigan, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to click on filtering it by location, and I'm going to say I want colleges within 100 miles of Port Huron, 48060 for the zip code, and I'm going to filter on that. So we're going to go from 2,500 colleges down to 42. That's still quite a lot. There's a lot of choices for colleges in Michigan. Now, we want more than an associate degree. Maybe you already have your bachelor or your associate degree in business. So what I'm going to do is click here, traditional colleges and universities. I don't want community colleges at this point. And now we're down to 22 colleges, and we can keep going down in terms of the setting. For example, if you're saying I'd like a small town, I don't want a big city, which would be urban, I don't want it out in the country, and And so in this case, we'll click on this, and now let's see what we're down to now. Now we're down to 5 colleges. Okay, Northwood, where we have several students going this fall. Siena Heights, I'm not sure about that. Maybe one I know student was looking at that. Adrian and Saginaw Valley State University just had their representatives here. They have some interesting business programs and accounting in particular they were telling me about. And then there's a kind of an online University of Phoenix campus. So, and then as you click the school, let's click on Saginaw Valley State, it will give you kind of a nice graphic about the school, and you can certainly get more and more information. But so it talks about Saginaw Valley State. The city is University Center, Michigan. It's a public school, small setting, about 9,000 students. And a pretty good acceptance rate, and so on. And the tuition is reasonable when it comes to Michigan schools. And then you can just scroll down and find out more information about it. It lists all the majors, programs offered. Other things off to the left here. If you want to know about, let's say, more about the admissions part, you can click on this. And it will tell you how many students applied, how many were accepted. There is a fee here, $30. We'll talk about that in a little bit. A minimum high school GPA of a 2.5, but it lists the average high school GPA of their students and so on. There's no application deadline. It's called a rolling application and so on. Okay? So that's how you use Petersons.com. Again, you're going to put up with a little bit of ads and suggestions, but those aren't always bad too. You might find something you hadn't thought of. Okay? So we're going to go back to the presentation in just a second. Okay, the next step in the college application process is preparing to apply. You need to know the deadlines for applying. As we just saw at the Saginaw Valley State University, information about there was they had no specific deadline. It's called a rolling application. However, you certainly, the sooner the better in terms of knowing that you will be accepted, and then you can work on financial aid, housing issues, and things like that in the months before you arrive. But some schools will take applications right on into May, June, possibly even July before the fall semester begins. But I would strongly recommend that you start the college application process now. Many schools do have deadlines when they announce who they want to accept for the next fall. If you know the deadlines, write them down and start putting to-dos on your calendar. So set a time, maybe this weekend where you're going to really research colleges and try to come up with 2, 3, or 4 that have programs you're interested in, learn more about them, and then set another to-do that you'll start your applications maybe the next weekend. Learning how to apply is important. In many cases, they want you now it's through their website. It's an online application process, which makes it pretty easy to complete them. Back in the day, my day, it used to be paper applications and sometimes several pages that you would have to fill out by hand. But now it's a much simpler process. A few schools, University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and I think Wayne State will accept applications through the Common Application. And some other schools throughout the nation use something called the Common Application, but most of Michigan's colleges and universities have online sites directly through their website. I don't know, there are very few paper applications left. SC4 has one actually, but it's a relatively simple application to complete. By the way, if you are continuing at SC4 and you know that you're not going to complete your degree, but you're within a few classes or even a lot of classes of getting your degree, maybe you're changing direction, maybe you want a second degree from SC4, what you need to do and can do as early as this winter is complete a paper application, and you simply indicate on there what semester you're applying for. So if you're going to start in the fall of 2016, you would check that box and sign the application, turn it in, and then you'll be all set, because winter registration at SC4 starts in April. It opens up, and so if you're all registered for that fall semester, then you can get the classes you want, which is important if you're trying to get some last classes to complete a degree. Application fees. You saw again, when we looked at the information on Saginaw Valley, they had a $30 application fee. That's right around the ballpark. Some are free. Oakland University does not have any application fee. Some schools, I think Western Michigan, it's a $40 fee. So you'll encounter some fees, but they're not that much, and I think it's worth it to apply to at least 2 or 3 colleges even if it costs you $100 or $120 in total, because then you have options. If you put all your eggs in one basket and either you're not accepted or you are accepted but they won't transfer many credits, then you'll wish that you would have applied to other schools sooner. So that's about the application fees. Now, this is a huge question, so pay attention if you've been drifting. And I don't blame you, I guess, if you have. But the question that you'll first encounter when you start the application is, do you apply, or are you applying as a freshman or a transfer student? The answer is you're applying as a freshman. Okay, even though you've got dozens and dozens of college credits, you're applying as a freshman. You're still a high school student. You have not received your high school diploma. So the colleges in Michigan want you to apply as a freshman. You may find schools out-state or out of the state of Michigan, rather, that will treat you as a transfer student and would just as soon have you apply as one. But my thought would be, if you're applying to a school outside of Michigan, just contact that school. Call them up and ask. It's easy to do. You'll be able to get someone on the phone right away and just kind of explain the situation and ask them how you apply. But otherwise, you should apply as a freshman. That puts you in the running for freshman scholarships, and there are more and better automatic scholarships tied to coming in as a freshman than as a transfer student. So when you apply, you want to make sure you follow their steps carefully and complete them all. And I'll show you at the end of this presentation, the last thing we'll do is go to a website, and I'll show you how the application works, how it's broken down into different areas. But it can appear that you finished an area that you might have started, and then it has a check mark saying, well, that's been done. But actually, you might not have finished it. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. Keep records. Write down your username, password, PIN numbers, because as soon as you start an application, they're going to want you to choose a username and then either a password or a PIN so you can go back into your application. You don't want to have to finish your application all at once, and you don't have to. You can do it over a series of days if you want. So make sure you keep records on that. If you get emails back from the college once you apply, then they're going to send emails updating your status and requesting things. Make sure you save those. Start a folder in your email. Don't just delete them once you've read them. When you apply, a big part of that is requesting transcripts. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about your high school transcript, and then we'll talk about your college transcript. You actually will have two transcripts, two separate ones that have records of your classes. And even though you're applying as a freshman, the universities or colleges are going to want to see your college transcript too, because that's what they're going to use to transfer credits, not just the fact that Psych 180 or Introduction to Psychology shows up on your middle college transcript, which is your high school transcript. They're going to want to see the number of credits you earned, and they're going to want to see it on a college transcript. So with regard to your high school transcript, the Blue Water Middle College Academy is your high school. Okay, we have a lot of students that sometimes, when asked for their high school transcript, they'll go back to Port Huron or they'll go to Memphis High School and try to request that transcript. That's not a complete transcript. It's not going to have any of your college classes on there, so you're going to have gaps in 11th grade and 12th grade. Also, Memphis, Port Huron Northern, Yale, Algonac, did I get them all? I might have missed one. But they are not going to be able to send a final transcript that indicates that you graduated from high school. We're the only ones that can do that, so make sure that you choose the Blue Water Middle College Academy as your current high school and you request transcripts from us. And we'll talk about how to do that in just a bit. There's a little more information you need to do before you do that. So, one of the things I want to talk about just briefly is keeping your grade point average strong. There's a lot of time left in terms of strengthening your transcript. You may or may not need that depending on your academic status right now and what school you're going to. But your college transcripts, which this year you're working on all college classes, those are evidence of your abilities and your work ethic in terms of, are you passing classes, not withdrawing, and so on. And your college transcript is going to go to future colleges and future employers. So keep that in mind. Now, this year is not the time to let up. As I record this, we're only about 7 weeks into the semester, maybe 8. That means half of the fall semester remains and all the winter semester. So there's still time to keep it strong or make it strong and set a positive path if maybe the last year or so wasn't a great year for you. So the average returning middle college student has taken, and now it's more like 10 college classes, but some have taken a little bit less than that. So if you're listening to this now, you've probably completed 8, 9, or 10 college classes. You've earned 30 to 32 credits if everything has gone well. You have a college grade point, the average student, of right around a 3.0 or a B average, which is very strong. But this year, you're going to be taking another 8, 9, or 10 college classes and another 30 or 32 credits. So the question is, what's going to happen to your grade point? Your college GPA can still be greatly impacted by how you do this year. If you're doing great, keep it going. If you didn't do so great last year, then work on getting more A's and B's than C's and D's, and that will bring up your college grade point average. We're not going to go to this website. If you want to, you can pause the video, write down the site, and actually do some calculations related to your grade point and how you might get it to go up to a certain level that you want. Don't go below a C if you can this semester. It affects transferability. We've talked about that. It can actually cost you money, and so in terms of work, that is. So you're saying, wait a minute, I work to earn money. But when you work too much and you have that extra shift or two, it can seriously cost you a lot of money. At SC4, one college credit costs about $115 now, so a typical 3-credit class costs $345. Now, at Central, the cost of a credit hour is almost $400. So that same class, if you aren't able to transfer it from SC4, will cost you almost $1,200. And if you throw on another couple $100 for books, which is not unusual, that extra shift might have cost you, if it cost your grade to slip, might have cost you almost $1,500. And that's just one class. So the difference between a C and a C minus can easily be $1,000 or more for each class that happens. So really be careful about working too much. I know a lot of our final year students are working what I think is too much. I know you have to put gas in your car, but keep it in perspective, you guys. Get help as soon as you need it. If you're slipping, you've heard these over the years. Know your syllabuses, your syllabi, what counts for the most credits. Make sure you do those really well. Communicate with your instructor, meet with them if you're struggling now. Face-to-face is best, but you can always email and phone them as well. Okay? So we're going to go back to the presentation now. Again, we're in our final section of it. So we're moving along. Again, follow these steps carefully, keep records. And now we're down to requesting your transcripts from the Middle College. Most of you are going to do it through something called Parchment. The website is called parchment.com. If you were at the session, then you received your Parchment login code and instructions on how to set up your account. If you did not attend the session, that's probably why you're viewing this, you need to contact Mr. Ruiz and ask him to send you a copy of your Parchment login. He will either see that an email gets sent from Parchment, or he can scan and send the Parchment sheet that we passed out. And Ms. Weimer can do this as well. If you walk into the Middle College office, if one of them is available or one of us is available, we can give you the sheet. I think they were printed for everybody, so we just have to find yours and give it to you. And the instructions for logging in are there, and you can actually order them online. Once you have an account set up, you order them to be sent to a school such as Michigan State or University of Michigan Dearborn, wherever you're going, and you'll kind of follow your order almost as if you were ordering books from Amazon.com. What happens is we get an email indicating a student has requested a transcript. We make sure your transcript is approved for sending. It's really quick on our end. Parchment then contacts the college you want to send it to, and then the college can download it from their site. So it's all done digitally and online. One neat thing you can do is request a transcript to be sent to yourself so you can see what your high school transcript looks like right now, and that's always a good thing to do. We mailed a copy earlier this summer, but it's good to see what's going to go to the colleges. Your college transcript would have just your college classes on it and your college grade point only. You have to request that from SC4, so you cannot say, email us. We can't print your college transcript. We don't have access to it. So you can either walk into the one-stop registration office in the MTech building and fill out a form, and they can either give you a transcript or send it directly to the college. You can also request a transcript to be sent to any colleges. Doesn't cost anything. You do that through your Wave, and I believe it's under Academic Profile. There will be a link to send a transcript. Okay. All right, it's important you communicate with the colleges, and if you haven't been to some of the schools you're interested in or that you learn about through your research, visit the college. It's worth spending half a day. It's worth spending a tank of gas to go there, get an official visit, contact the college ahead of time, find out when they give their tours. Don't just go there, park, and walk around. You're going to miss so much about what the school can offer and why you should attend there, or maybe why you should not attend there. So set up a formal visit with a parent. You can go with a friend. It can make a nice day, and often they're available on Saturdays or maybe on a weekday when you don't have classes. Once you make that connection, or you apply, or you have questions, and you call or email, try to build a relationship with the individual who responds. If it's try to get the name of someone you talk to on the phone and so on, and that will just help not only during the admissions process, but actually once you're accepted, you've got someone to go back to with your questions. If they request things from you, usually it's via email. Make sure you respond quickly. Don't just kind of let it go and 2-3 weeks go by and then they have to ask you again for transcripts that might not have arrived there. So respond to their requests promptly. Do check your email and keep your email contacts formal, always with a greeting. Even if it's just initially a hi, I'm looking for more information about this. But once you get a name, use that. Hi, Mr. Johnson. Hi, Mrs. Maxwell. Okay, and make sure you sign your name. All right, well, this slide actually has passed. As I record this, it was 2 days ago. We had the Saginaw Valley reps here at the Middle College, and there was the Transfer and College Night Fair. So that was a good opportunity, but there's still plenty of chance to learn more about the colleges through the means I mentioned. Go to their website, visit the school, and so on. Okay, in some cases, most applications will have at least an optional place where you can write about yourself and or upload a little, one-page essay or whatever you want to call it, explaining a little bit more about yourself than just your grade point average and test score. So look for those opportunities. Some schools require them. You have to actually complete an essay based on a certain question or prompt. But if it's not there, look for the means where you can tell more about yourself and write about your middle college experience. You guys took on a great challenge at the start of 11th grade, taking 2 college classes, 4 throughout that year, and 6 college classes as a senior. Very, very few students can say they've done that, and that will help you get admitted to the college you really want to get into. Tell them why you want to attend that particular school. What can you bring to their campus? Try not to make it so generic that they don't know whether you're applying to Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, or Harvard out east or something like that. So do a little research and just say, I know that Western Michigan has a strong business program. I'm excited to be there and learn more about the city of Kalamazoo, whatever. Personalize it a little bit. Get your essays, even if it's just 1 or 2 paragraphs, proofread. Have somebody look them over for typos, grammar, repeated words, whatever it is, you guys. You don't want to send an essay where your grammar and your spelling is off. And maybe you could have worded something a little differently to get the attention of the admissions folks. Okay, after acceptance, let's say you get that email or that letter. It's very exciting because they said, hi, and we want you to attend our school. Then you want to look into financial aid options and housing options, things like that. We're going to provide more information about that after the first of the year. You cannot complete what's called your FAFSA, which is a federal application for financial aid, until the first of the year this year. So there's time on this, and we'll talk more about that later this year. Okay, so the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of the program, and I'm going to go to Oakland University's website and just take you through just a little bit of the application process so you can see what it looks like. Most schools are similar, so we're going to do that in just a second. Okay, the final segment of this presentation video will be going actually to a real college site and looking at the application process. So this is where we were. I'm now going to go to Oakland's site, which is Oakland, there it is, .edu. It comes up. I should just click on it. And most college websites look similar. Often now they all have a big splashy picture, and usually it goes from one picture to another. Along the top, and this is similar to SC4s, you'll have different tabs. When you scroll over them, of course, your different choices will open up. In this case, there's usually going to be something for future students. It might say admissions, but that's where you are right now. So you are going to click on future students. Okay, and there's so many ways of getting to the site, but I'm going to click here first, and hopefully it's going there. Sometimes with all the photos and videos and things like that that are embedded on these sites, it can take some time. Well, let me do this. So maybe it's not a clickable link, but I'm going to click on undergraduate admissions right here. You are going to be an undergraduate, not grad school yet. I'm going to click on that, and that is getting us to a new page, which is good. There are some options. Again, there's multiple ways. Just show you some things about this. It mentions visiting campus. There's a link here, so they would tell you when they offer tours and how to sign up for a tour. So remember how we did that? It says we're coming to your school. My guess is if you clicked on that, you might have a schedule, or you could type in your school and find out when someone's coming there, and so on. So that's the part where you're going to get more info. That's step one here, because certainly you don't want to apply to Oakland if you don't know anything about it. But let's say you're past that now, and you click on apply. Okay. It's going to get you, in this case, to a slightly different website. Let me see if this works. It will ask you if you're a first-time user to create an account. I'm not going to do that right now because I've created a couple of accounts. I want to see if I can just get back in and use this one. I don't know if that'll let me in. Looks like it is. Good. All right. So in this case, once you log in, you're going to see a page like this. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Zoom in on these things. So here's right away, like I said, they're going to, are you applying as a freshman, or the second choice is a transfer student? And then there's all different kinds of other programs. The ones that say grad are for graduate school, and so on. So there's a lot of different ones, but basically post-bachelor's, if you have a bachelor's degree already and you just want to take more classes. But you're going to click on the freshman one, and I'm going to click continue. Okay, and basically read the directions. Here are the different terms you can apply to. It says below are the general timelines for more specific dates. Click here to view their academic calendar. So in this case, when you want to, the terms, I think, let me see here if I'm reading this correctly, early September to early December. Well, that's the actual term itself, so that's not when to apply. Oakland does have a rolling admission, so you could apply in the winter and still be accepted for the fall. Okay, but they're just letting you know when the terms are, because that's what you have to choose next. So let's say fall of 2016, next fall. I've got my name in here. It brought that in, and now I'm going to click on filling out the application. So I've told them how I'm applying and for what semester. Okay, and you're going to see this checklist of information. Each of these you can jump around. You can say, oh, cell phone, I'm going to get started with that. And you can put in a cell phone number. What I want to show you, let's say I go to the first one and I put in my names and so on. They've already filled in this. Let's say I want to put in the last letter of my first name. So I put Peter in there. I'll just select that. I don't get this done. Well, I can do that. Let's do that. No. Okay. So I click continue. It automatically saves what I've done, moves me on to the next one. Let's say that I start to put in my address. So here's the address for Middle College. And suddenly I get called to dinner. Okay, so I'm going to click on finish later. And you can do that. It's not a problem. Okay. Now, I'm going to go, it said I need a zip code. Well, it's not letting me finish this. That's actually a good thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. And we'll do the state and the zip code. In this case, it's 48061 for the college. And let me see if that allows me to go back to the checklist, what I want to show you is it indicates that both of these are totally finished now. Sometimes you can put in just a little bit of information, and when you come back you'll see that that check mark is there, and that's what I want to make sure you guys are warned about. Remember when I talked about understanding the directions and completing everything carefully? If you don't complete a section, it's okay. Just make sure you go through each section before you submit to make sure you do have everything. Okay? I'm not going to go through all of these sections, but all the colleges will have similar ones. They might be grouped differently. But I want to point out on the high school section, you can look up the Blue Water Middle College. Now it's already in here, but let me delete this, okay, and delete this. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But so let's say I'm not sure what the code is, and I wouldn't expect you to know that. So we're going to look it up. Choose Michigan. There it is, and well, we've already got, so I'm going to click on select. Now we're going to look for the city. So I'm going to scroll down to Port Huron. There it is. And let's list the high schools in Port Huron or the Port Huron area. And remember, the Blue Water Middle College Academy is the one that you want to choose. Okay, so we select that, and it says copy selected high school information to data entry form, and we do that. Okay, so there it is again. It put it back in there. Now it'll ask you when you graduate. If you're not exactly sure, you can put 01 for the day. They're not going to come after you, but you guys will be graduating May, I think it will be the 15th, but 2016. So I used this last year. So that's when you're going to be graduating. You can answer if you've taken AP classes or the ACT you have taken. The date for the ACT, you could say March of 20, I think it was 14 when you guys were juniors. I'll leave that up to you, and so on. So there's some questions to answer here. Now, you can put your former, and you should put your former school in. So in this case, it says enter or view another high school. You can do this and put, in terms of, it would be Memphis High School, search for Memphis, and so on. It's going to ask you the dates that you enrolled and when you left it. And so the date that you left Memphis High School or Port Huron is June of your 10th grade year, assuming that you enrolled in the middle college at the start of junior year. Put down June 01 if you don't know the exact date. You probably won't. Of 20, I believe it'd be 14 or 13 actually was the year you guys left. Okay, so that's the high school. If I click finish later, it will. Okay, I'm going to go back to this one. This is the one I created. I want to show you again the checklist. Looks like I've completed the high school, but really I haven't. I want to put more information. And there's a similar thing in terms of college. You can put down which college you've had or attended. And you're going to want to search for St. Clair County Community College, and it'll ask when you attended there. It'll ask if you have a degree. Now, you don't have the degree yet, but if you are going to get it, you think you are, then you can say yes, associate degree, and then you just put the date May 01 or May. It'll actually be around May 6th, I think, of 2016, and they will know that you don't have it yet. Okay? If you have questions and you're filling any of this out, just let me know. The very last thing we're going to do, you guys, and then wrap up is, here's that part about the essay. And I talked about it's important to let them know what you've been doing, how you've been challenging yourselves. What it says here in the directions, if you're an undergraduate applicant, it says if you would like to provide additional information about yourself that would be helpful in evaluating your application, please use the following space. You can write it in Word and copy and paste it. But the point is, it's giving you the option. You don't have to. It says if. Well, I recommend that you do. Okay, so here's the text box. You can type it here, or probably better, do it in Word, something that can kind of do the spell check for you. I recommend you have somebody check it. And it can be just a couple of paragraphs. You don't have to write a lot, but include the fact that you took on this challenge, what you've learned maybe as a middle college student, and that will help you succeed in college. Even if you struggled at first, that can be part of what you include about yourself. And again, try to mention something about Oakland University, in this case, why you want to be there, that you've done some research, you know they have a program that you're interested in, and that you look forward to getting on their campus, and so on. Okay? And then you'll continue. Once everything's checked off, it gives you a chance to review it, the whole application, and then you click submit and kind of check your email and wait for information from the college. Okay. So that is it. Not going back to the presentation. If you have any questions about any of this, and it's likely that you will, let me know. We're already hearing about students who've been accepted by colleges and universities, which is pretty exciting. So once your submission is there, if you get an acceptance notice, let me know. Zip me an email. We're trying to kind of keep track of that. It's great news, and then we'll help you with the next steps in the process. Okay? There will be a few assignment tasks that you need to do related to this video. They will show up, number one, in the email from me or Ms. Weimer. One of us will send you the email with the link to the presentation. And they'll also show up just below the video on the web page where you're viewing the video. So if you scroll down, there'll be a few things you need to do or send in as evidence that you viewed the video and have thought about some of the things in it. Okay, so make sure you get that done so we can have you cleared for registration for winter classes. Okay, thank you very much.